Hey YouTube, what's up? I'm coming in here with a quick video. I just got the Trailblazer back from the shop. I had a few things done to it and figured I'd just kind of run through that list. Uh, I ended up getting 3 things done while I was taking the dash out and had all the electrical stuff taken care of all at once. I just wanted to get it all done at once and not have to worry about it again. So the 3 things that I ended up taking care of was I got a really nice radio put in, a backup camera that goes to the new radio that I'm getting, and what I think is the most fun is down there. I ended up where the factory fog lights would have been had this not been a base model. Sorry for all the bug guts on the car, by the way. I do a lot of driving at night. I ended up putting in some Nightlight off-road lights down here. These are a spot beam LED. What I ended up doing is I ended up putting them down through the where the factory fog lights would have been. And what that creates is, in essence, a fog light for me to have. They're pretty bright. I don't actually use them too much because they don't go out as much as they do under. They actually do work very well as a fog light. I work pretty early in the morning, so I'm usually driving before the sun comes up, and I have to cross a lake to get to where I go to work, and it is almost always just a really thick fog at the time that I'm going to work. So having these fog lights like this actually is a bit of a safety thing that I really appreciate having. So you'll see here in the way that they're mounted, there is a piece of steel behind the bumper, and it's not very thick. We ended up having some troubles with it, so what I ended up having to have done was get a mount welded to here. Under here, there is it's just a washer welded to the bar where the lights are. Maybe at some point I'll do a review with the lights at night and just let you guys see what they look like. But have those coming in here to the inside. Got it all wired up. Everything's done well. Sorry about the dinging. I've got the key in the ignition for this video, and I've got the lights running to this kind of just for fun Sasquatch light auxiliary switch. I purposefully had the switch mounted up as high as it could go so that I have a little bit of space right down here. Sorry, the camera's out of focus. So that if I do ever end up putting a bar light on top, I will probably rerun those lights, the floodlights, to this switch and just put a simple push button toggle for the fog lights down here, and see where that takes me. Let's see. This is the radio that I ended up putting in. It's a dual XNav, what is that, 267BT. I'm not really sure. It's a touchscreen radio that has a internal navigation system, which I frankly don't use. I use the app Waze, W-A-Z-E, whenever I am traveling, and I like that better than the kind of generic Google Maps that's on here. But if I'm ever out of cell service, it's good to know that I have just a designated GPS nav system that I can use through the car. And then also it has Bluetooth and an aux port. So I have my phone paired directly to this, so every time I get in the car and I turn it on, like I will right now because it's about 95 degrees out and I want the air conditioning, it comes on and it pairs to my phone, which is a Google Pixel XL. Just a bunch of options. Oh, sorry. It does that whenever it connects to my phone. What it ends up being able to do, this is by no means an exhaustive review on this radio, but it's just kind of an introduction on it. Has options for radio, disc, navigation. You can actually have it has an audio video port, which I use for the backup camera that it has. But in some way you might be able to actually rig it to run like a DVD player or something along those lines. I have no plans to ever use that. Coming through here, there is a way that in the back there is a USB. You can't access it with the radio in, so I'm not really sure why it's an option, but if you have something connected to the USB, you can play based on that. It has the two different Bluetooth settings in the AUX. I primarily just go off of Bluetooth. I don't tend to listen to the radio, but it does have a full band going through. And one thing that I have noticed is that over the stock radio, absolutely blown away with the sound quality. I'll see if there's anything. What I have noticed with this, also by the way, there's a mute option, so if you're ever driving you just want to mute it, you don't have to deal with the dial, you have that, which I think is convenient. I found that there's a level of richness to the bass and just a clarity that I didn't have with my previous radio, just the stock factory GMC radio in here. And I had cranked the bass on that radio all the way up and never gotten half as much as I'd gotten in here. And so I actually learned a thing or two, because I didn't really think the radio played as much of a difference in the sound quality as it does. So I'm getting a level of sound out of these factory speakers. This is a base model, so it doesn't have the Bose surround sound system in it that I wasn't expecting to get. I have everything run to this the right way. I had it professionally done. The backup camera goes through the tailgate hatch and up across the roof line to get in here. And let me just show you guys the backup camera real quick. It's rigged up to where whenever it goes into reverse, the music quiets down, and you have, I forget the model of this backup camera. It was the Amazon suggested $20 backup camera. I didn't really put too much thought into the backup camera. I just knew that this radio had the capacity for it, and when I had it in the other Trailblazer that I only owned for a couple hours before it got hit, that this came out of, when you put it in reverse, it didn't matter if you had a camera or not. It would go to the blue blank screen where the audio video would have been coming through, and it was kind of annoying. So I thought I might as well get a backup camera to put in and have it all done while I'm doing it. It's got the sensors on there, and it activates whenever you put it in reverse. Switch here. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of spitballing here. This Sasquatch light switch here is also Nilight, I think is what it's, NI light. It's just another kind of cheap Amazon light, but they seem fairly durable. This is one of the wiring harnesses that came with it, and it was their heavier duty wiring harness. It did not come with the lights, that you could purchase for the lights. One of their heavier duty wiring harnesses with the optional switch here. And it's really hard to see because it's such a bright sunlight coming in here. This actually lights up with blue LEDs in the back, and whenever the car is on, the Sasquatch lights, the part on the bottom that's written, that comes in a blue light, and then when you turn the light on, this glows blue. Those stay on whenever the car is on. It's wired to where I can only turn on my auxiliary lights whenever the car is on and running. Excuse me. And so yeah, this whole setup, really didn't cost me a whole lot in parts. It solely because the radio I got from a previous vehicle. The rest of this I got all rigged up and everything was doing pretty good. The most it cost me was in the labor because we had to pull the roof liner out to run the wires for the backup camera, and because we had to take a little bit extra time to realize that we weren't going to be able to mount it directly to the piece of steel, the lights to this piece of steel in the front. And so that welding, I guess you could call it fabrication, it's just a freaking washer welded to it, but that's what ended up taking the majority out of the budget for this. Next things that are going to happen fairly soon, reviews on the lights, probably a review on the radio separate from this at some point soon, and then I have the 2-inch rough country leveling kit that is going to go on this with the Bilstein 5100 Trailblazer, or lifted Trailblazer gas charge shock set. That's going to get done fairly soon, hopefully this week maybe. I know I'm spending a lot of money and getting a lot of things done in a very short order, but it's how things have worked out right now, and I'm just trying to get everything finished so that I don't have to in the future. I'll be getting that with hopefully a new set of tires for the outside. I'm looking at a pair of hand-cooked Dynapro ATMs in a 245/70/17, which is the absolute maximum size that you should be able to fit on any Chevy Trailblazer or GMC Envoy and the like, without requiring wheel spacers to get over that upper control arm. So hopefully I'll be turning in these Toyo AT, the open countries, which I don't have a ton of complaints with. They seem to drive fine on the road. I haven't really done any off-roading in them because they seem kind of old. The main reason that I'm replacing the tires with this is because winter's coming up and there is some pretty significant dry rot on the inside of the tread on the tires. And I have had some issues with these Toyos when it was wet and raining, so slick roads like that. And I am going to try out the hand cooks and see if I can get some better tread out of it. So that's pretty much it for this video. I know it's really disorganized, really jumbled. I just threw a lot of things at you. I just wanted to try and keep people updated with the Trailblazer as things are going to be coming along. It's going to get the lift and tires pretty soon with the shocks. The black truck is currently kind of in a state of limbo. I'm still in the process of getting it ready to send over to my grandparents to store it. I'm going to try and get all of the fluid leaks stopped up before I get in there and make a mess on their garage floor if I can help it. So yeah, that's it for this video. I know it's been really long, really rambly, and I'm going to try and cut it off now. But if you've made it this far, thank you. Just make sure you like and subscribe. Do what you got to do. Hit that notification button if you want to see any more of the updates on these. And I'll see y'all in the next one.